Welcome to Business Growth Insiders, episode number 13. Lucky 13.
We
Uh,
are 13. Yes. Good to
uh,
be back.
it is good to be back. We've been off for about a month dealing with COVID-19 issues, quarantine issues, building our businesses.
Mhm.
I don't know, I know your business is growing. My business is growing as well. It's a weird time, a bad time for a lot, a good time for some, business wise. And I thought that we would have this discussion today and kind of go through some maps, some Google Maps, 3-pack strategy. Kind of talk to people about why this actually matters, why nowadays you really should have a more maps first approach to
Mhm.
your SEO if you are a local business, and just kind of shoot the breeze and kind of see where this takes us. Lisa, how are
Yeah.
you? It's good to see you.
I'm doing very well, Jeff. And yes, we have been busy. I was just on another session, and we're talking about how we're busier than ever and what happened to all of our travel time between meetings. We have booked that with other things. And so, really just making the best of the time that we have. And I'm very excited about today's show because people are having to operate in a new normal, which means they need to be open to some different opportunities that they may not have considered before. So you're going to bring the wisdom on that. And I'm going to be very much a student here. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us.
Yeah, the new normal. Man, I hate that phrase. I absolutely hate that phrase.
Well,
Sounds something very 1984 Orwellian, if you ask
well,
me.
then I can say the new and different normal. How's that?
Yeah, we're going to figure out a way to go back to the regular normal, except from a business perspective, right? We want
Right.
business owners, especially local business owners. This is for you, to understand the
Mhm.
landscape of what's actually what people are doing now on Google. Where are people going? Where are they clicking? And you'd be surprised to find out that the majority of people, when they search for a local business or some sort of service locally, they're skipping right past the paid ads, and they're going to that map area, the local
Mhm.
3-pack map area. It used to be 7, and now it's only 3, and that's garnering over 68% of the actual click throughs right now on a local service listing. So it's become incredibly, incredibly important.
So, Jeff, what you're talking about is when we Google a business name, that rectangle that comes up on the right side of the page with that business name is that what you're talking about, the Google My Business listing?
So that's a Google My Business listing. Yes, that's how
Mhm.
you inevitably get into that
Mhm.
local 3-pack. Is you have to do that. You have to go to Google My Business. You
Mhm.
have to sign up for one. It's free. What happens is
Mhm.
you go through a little process, and they inevitably will send you a postcard. I'm actually running a test now, revamping my entire business to do it for my own business. So just started, and it took them 4 business days, I believe, to
Mhm.
send me the postcard, which is really quick, especially within the COVID-19 area
Mhm.
or situation that we're in. So I was highly, highly impressed. Once you have that postcard, it gives you a code. You punch in the code, and then you're able to get well, you already have full access, but then you're able to kind of edit the entire Google My Business platform. Okay. Now, this platform consists of your name, and then the second most important thing, which is actually the most important thing, is categories. So
Mhm.
categories for me is internet marketing, website design, things like that. For a restaurant, it could be specific types of restaurants, Italian or just regular restaurant.
Mhm.
The more, let's see, the more categories you can fall into, the better if strategically done right, right? So if you're a law firm and you offer a lot of different services, then you can pick up a lot of different categories this way. There's some people in the industry that say, well, you should really narrow it down to 1 or 2 different categories. And there are others that say more the merrier. I'm more in the camp of more the merrier, but they have to marry a page on your website. So
Mm,
um,
okay.
being able to rank in this map pack isn't just about, having a Google My Business listing,
Mhm.
and that's great. And sometimes just having the listing and putting in your category and putting in a little bit of a biography, if you will, can get you in there, depending upon how weak the competition is. But most of the time, you're really going to need to have the whole situation optimized clearly. So a category needs to be related to a page on your website.
Mm.
Now, a lot of times, especially for me, say internet marketing services is the main category that I'm using, but that's not what I'm trying to marry. So I'm trying to marry SEO, right? So search engine optimization. So what I'm doing is saying, okay, well, I'm relating internet marketing services to the term SEO, so that when the page is built specifically for SEO within Alpharetta, because that's my test that I'm doing right now. So I'm giving away the farm here to anybody else that's a competitor. Here's what I'm going to try and do: I'm going to rank for Alpharetta SEO, Alpharetta SEO company, so on and so forth. I want to see how quickly I can rank for it's actually a fairly competitive term. It's not
Mhm.
Atlanta. It is Alpharetta, so it is a smaller city, but it's relevant to where the office is that my company is in, right? So this
Mhm.
is why we're trying to go after that. But you have to marry the content to the category page, and you have to be very specific. So at a law firm, there are so many different
Mhm.
ones.
Yeah.
You can be an attorney, you can be in a law firm, you can be a divorce law firm, whatever. So again, if you have that category and you have that service, then you have to marry the two together, which means you have to have service pages for everything that you
Mhm.
do. So here's is an interesting one. So say you're a restaurant, bar and grill. Okay. Well, your restaurant, bar and grill has food that could be cheeseburgers. It could be American food. It could be you could have Chinese food. I mean, you could have breakfast. You could have Italian food. You can have French food. Whatever. You can have all sorts of different foods residing within your restaurant. Well, you would want to create what we would call a service page for that specific food, because then you're marrying that food to in that service page to the category on Google My Business. And I'm going way overboard and overhead on it, but you get the point. You
Yeah.
have to kind of be strategic about all of that. You have to marry all of that stuff together. I have some stats that I'm really happy that I found, so I want to rail them off if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Stats
All
are
right, cool.
great.
All right, cool. So research by Google themselves show that 76% of people who conduct a local search contact a business within 24 hours, and 28% of those searches result in a purchase of said service.
That's
That's
a very high percentage.
it's massive. 76% will that are looking for a local business will conduct or contact that business within 24 hours. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? Another stat here, which again I love my stats. 68% of searchers prefer the local 3-pack. 27% prefer the organic results, so those search results that are underneath the map, and only 10% trusted those paid search ads, right? And this was a study done by SearchEngineWatch.com. So as you can see, if only one of the three spots available garners 68% of all searchers' trust, the 3-pack is an absolute must. I mean, this is why I'm instilling a post-COVID strategy, which is my maps first approach to digital marketing, and that is what I'm preaching. That is where I am personally going. This is an evergreen strategy. So whereas Facebook ads, Google ads, if you turn those ads off, the traffic is gone. What I'm suggesting and telling all of my clients, and this is what I'm moving forward with, is this maps first approach. It's an evergreen strategy,
Mhm.
right? And then what we're doing is we're marrying a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Instagram ads at the end for retargeting only. Okay, so
Okay.
because when people come to your website from a maps listing, if they're not making that phone call, which the majority are making a phone call from a local perspective, but say they're not, say they come to your website, a lot of times, I'd say 8 out of 10 times, they don't contact you initially once
Mhm.
they've made it through the maps area. If they stay in maps, they're calling you. Okay. But if they don't, and they move through to your website, they need to check more information. Maybe you don't have enough reviews, which we'll talk about as well. Then what you need to do is you need to have some sort of ad strategy to bring them back after they've left,
Mhm.
right? So why spend all that money on search engine optimization, on Google Maps optimization, and then just let people leave? $5 per day, $7 per day on ads, excuse me, to generate those people to come back.
And I think that's something a lot of business owners don't think of is that retargeting. Like they've been to your website and then they leave. How do you go after them? How do you know that? And so that's what you're talking about there, Jeff, is
Mhm.
the retargeting.
Yeah, it's digital stalking,
Mhm.
but it's legal and morally fine, and it's something that every business needs to be doing. I would say probably at least 90% of the leads that other businesses are getting that I've worked with, or that others that I know that have worked with, have come from retargeting campaigns,
Mhm.
not from cold traffic campaigns. Now, cold traffic is when somebody comes to your website for the very first time. Okay. They don't know who you really are. They happen to search for you. Maybe they saw an ad somewhere else, whatever. They
Mhm.
came to your website. That's cold traffic. Most of that traffic will not convert right off the bat unless you just have the most stupid, amazing offer that no one else has. And, the cure for cancer, AIDS, and COVID-19 all rolled into one, whatever. That's the only reason you would have something like that. Otherwise, you have to have that retargeting campaign
Mhm.
because you need to bring people back. They'll leave. People have the attention span of a gnat, right? It's
Mhm.
a squirrel kind of society, squirrel. And so you need to make sure that you're bringing them back. Hey, remember us? Remember us? Hey, you remember you
Right.
came to our website? Come on back. Now, you don't actually say that. We don't. People don't like to have that fourth wall broken down, as they
Mhm.
say. When retargeting first came out, they a lot of marketers tried that, and it got real creepy really
Mhm.
fast. And
Mhm.
so it's not about that anymore. You don't do that. You just remind them about your business. Maybe you remind them about the service that they saw. And you see this with cars. If you go look at a car dealership website, you'll see the car again, or clothing. You'll see the piece of clothing again. So that's what that is.
Yeah, and I think what happens there is it's really a relational way to get into their minds and their thought process. We're all very busy. We've got lots of distractions. So I see this. I'm not going to reach out initially. I have to think about it before I take that effort. But it gives you a chance to nurture them along. Maybe you learn a little bit more, put that little thought into their brain and let them think about it a while. And then when the time is ripe and right, then you make that connection.
It's true. It's very true.
Mhm.
Going back into the Google Maps data as well. Another study says 44% of all clicks are coming from that three pack. Um, that's enormous. The second largest would be organic underneath the map at 29. So if
Mhm.
you're getting 44% of the total clicks from a interested buyer on Google, you need to spend the time to have a maps first approach. Now, has maps optimization been around for a long time? Yes, it has. But as the years have gone on and the studies have gone on and the research and the behavior of the searcher has been studied more, it's become
Mhm.
more and more evident and more important that maps uh, a first approach is the top strategy and priority. I mean, I'm seeing it with some medical companies,
Mhm.
medical practices that I'm blessed to be able to help with and work with, and their local map rankings is really what's driving a lot of phone calls, a absolute lot. And yes, you can use phone. You can use call tracking with the Google My Business listing. So the Google My Business listing actually gives you multiple areas for different phone numbers. So you can have your regular phone number, which you need, but you can also add a call tracking number too. So
Okay.
that way, you can track and see how many calls are coming in from there,
All
which is
right.
great.
And just to clarify, if I were to Google Italian food, and
Mhm.
then what would happen is on my webpage, right at the center left part, is I'm going to have a map with 3 different options
Mhm.
of places that I can go. And that's really what you're talking about there.
Yeah, it is. In fact,
Mhm.
let me since we have the ability to screen share on our
Yeah. It's good.
fantastic stuff. Let's Italian food.
Well, and
Um,
what I think is so great about this is we're so busy. Who has time to go through and read all the web pages and different things? Just give me 3 to choose from. So it really is a way to fast track for people.
That it is. That it is. Now, we are not sponsored by any of the restaurants that we
Right.
are currently showing, so I do want to put that out there. But if you'd like to sponsor us, we'll be happy to do so. Anyways, all right. So Italian food near me in Google, right? So
All
you
right.
come down. First thing here, we've got our paid ads, right? Well, and this one we only have one, and it's Uber Eats. Okay, so if
Mhm.
you need Uber Eats, fine, you do that. All this other data that's over here on the side is because I use different SEO tools and I get
Mhm.
really nerdy with it. So that's what all this other stuff is here on the right. So don't get confused what that all is. But here is the maps listing. We have
Nice.
Eppolito's Italian restaurant. We have Romano's Macaroni Grill. We have Vinny's on Windward. So
Mhm.
I'm in this vicinity here off of Morris Road, and my office is currently. And this is the 3 restaurants that they've
Mhm.
chosen to show me based off of Italian food. Now you'll notice they have the name of the place. They have the amount of stars, the reviews, which is incredibly important. The actual
Mhm.
number of them, how kind of expensive the food is, what the food type is, the address, and then whether it's dine in, curbside, and no contact delivery. So obviously that's a new thing that
Mhm.
Google added during the COVID-19
Yeah.
pandemic, right? And then down here we have takeout only because delivery and dine in is a no for Vinny's. Again, because of where we're at within the pandemic. Normally, dine in would be, a green check at this point. Some
Mm.
restaurants are open, some aren't. Okay, so we're kind of dating this. And then as you move down, you have Yelp, TripAdvisor, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and then the actual first regular local organic listing is number 6 here,
Mm.
which is so far down the list that it's not even funny. No one's getting clicks there. That's why this has become so much more important. Now, let's go over some of the ways that you get into this area. Okay, so Google does look at um, vicinity from the searcher to the restaurant, right? So I'm in this area right here, which is why we have those 3 listed. Okay, so that's one way. Okay, number 2, making sure that they have a Google My Business listing, which obviously they do. That it is for Italian food, which it is, right? The amount of reviews are listed. So
Mm.
we have a 4.1 and 210 reviews. Vinny's has a 4.2 and even more reviews. So that's an interesting thing here, right? So why could that possibly be? Why could that possibly be different? Well, there's more factors to that, right? So on a website, you have to have the name, address, and phone number of your business on your website. It's called NAP, NAP, name, address, and phone number. You have to have NAP consistency across the web. So Yelp, City Pages, Yellow Pages, Facebook, Google, these are all called citations or listings. And all of your name, address, and phone number should match. Okay. If they don't, you have to edit them to make sure that they do. Google looks for that consistency across the web. Google does not read everything. Google analyzes everything, right? You so what I mean by that is you have to give Google you think, well, they should know different. It says number 125, but this one says suite 125. They should know different. They don't.
Mhm.
Well, I'm a major brand, restaurant chain. They should know. Not necessarily. So it's SEO and local SEO. It's an art form and science, right? So there is correlation data that we go through, but it's also kind of an art form where you have to just be specific about things and make sure that they're on point and designed and developed the way that they should, right? So, anyways, so we have NAP consistency, we have reviews, but personally, and making sure that the right keywords are on your website and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into too much of that because I don't want this episode to go too long. But I do want to mention reviews. Okay, reviews are so important, guys, so important. And here's why: the majority of those local searches, okay, they're not going to your website. They are actually looking here. Okay, so this is the listing, the Google My Business listing for
Mhm.
Eppolito's. If they need to go to your website, they will. Otherwise, they're looking for directions, save, and they're also looking for that phone number, which is right here. Now, this is on my laptop, which is, as you can see, crazy with the amount of tabs that I have open. Uh, but on a mobile phone, this is actually a different type of listing where it's mostly based around the phone. So up here, there's actually a click to call. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's what the majority of people are doing. They're clicking to call. Okay. They want to place that order, or they need to figure out where you are. So they'll go for directions. Okay. But they're also looking at this, and look at how nice this looks. It stands out from the rest of the black, and the blue is your reviews. And people, they read your reviews. They any reviews that look like this too, where you've got a local guide and it's 5 stars and tons of photos. That's fantastic. You can't go wrong with this kind of stuff, which is probably why they rank number one over Vinny's at this point, because
Mhm.
they have such amazingly, I mean, when you get reviews like this that are adding in photos and they're actually from a local quote unquote guide, it's top notch stuff. And I mean, look, this is what people, this is what also Google's looking at these reviews to rank you. Okay, so
Mhm.
is it a smaller part of it? Yeah, but it is a part of it. So you have to make sure that you're going out and you're getting great 5 star reviews. Now, okay, Jeff, I'm worried because I can't control, all the reviews. I can't control whether or not they're going to give me a 3 star review or a 2 star or 4 star or 5 star. But there's software that can help you with that. So I'm not going to get into all of that, but I will get into the strategy. So basically, there's software that you can use to send people to give you a review. Okay, and if they give you a 3 star or below, it actually goes to a contact form to contact them, your store, immediately to resolve whatever issue there was, and it bypasses actually putting that review up, so it won't put that review up. It'll just give them the form and move them over so that you can remedy that solution and hopefully get a 4 or 5 star out of them at the end of the day. If they're 4 or 5 stars, you can push that right up into Google. If you're medical, health grades, vitals, if you're a restaurant, Yelp, whatever. I mean, Yelp's kind of coming down, but it's still there and still important. So those are some helpful hints to get you to rank in the Google Map Pack.
Boy, that was brilliant. Whoever came up with that idea for the 3-star review to divert
Mhm.
them, that was incredibly wise. Great opportunity.
It really was. It's ingenious because
Mhm.
if you're a restaurant and you're an owner and you care about your patrons, you care about your customers, you care about the food, your the people that work for you, you care about everybody. But say you have a waiter that just had a really bad night the night before, up all night with the son or daughter, like my daughter. Then you all of a sudden you have a grumpy person who just had a bad day, and we all have bad days, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that restaurant should necessarily pay the ultimate price for that. So it gives them an opportunity to remedy the solution. Now, it doesn't like just keep it off and then that's it, the end of the story. You need to have them contact you so that you can fix the problem. And then sometimes people are just impossible and you can't fix them. There
Mhm.
are, believe it or not, there are actually some unhappy people in this world. I don't know if you're aware of that. You
Run
know,
into them once in a while.
yeah,
Yes.
ever seen them on the internet before?
Yes. I try and stay away.
Indeed, indeed. So, I mean, really, this was kind of a quick thrown together episode. I really wanted to get some information out to some local businesses, and we'll put this up on LinkedIn, of course, and we'll put this up on our Facebook pages and yada yada. But Lisa, is there, at least from a content perspective or anything else, have you run into the SEO issue, or how do you kind of approach that kind of stuff?
Well, I think the thing that makes you most relevant to people who are looking is making sure that you are addressing their problem.
Mm,
What are they looking for? Is if they're looking for Italian food for a specific event, are they looking for catering? I think making sure your content as specific as possible that really relates to what they need, and that really hones in and helps that conversion increase its chances.
mhm. Okay, awesome. Greg Allen has a question here from Facebook. Hi, friends. What's the name of that program? That program, well, the one that I'm actually speaking about is called Bird Eye, Birdeye. So Bird Eye. Just Google it; you'll find it. There are lots of other ones out there. Bird Eye is a good one. It's a little pricey for the normal end user. But if you're really going out and pushing reviews and it's
Mhm.
something that's a big part of your marketing strategy, it's a must for
Yeah.
sure. It is a must. All right. Well, if you're good, I think we're good. I
Yeah,
think
thank
I
you.
rambled on and on and on,
No, I
but I
think that's from a user perspective, we see that. We don't know how that gets there. So it's really good to find the mystery behind how you appear on that. That's not something commonly known by most small business owners. So appreciate you sharing that insight, Jeff. And we'll look for more tips as we move along in our episodes to come.
yeah, absolutely. Just before we go as well, I will be on a small panel, two people, webinar on June 5th. And I'll be discussing local SEO a little bit more detail. There will be slides involved, of course. Gotta love some slides. So more information on that will be forthcoming as soon as I get all of that data. I will put it up. We'll put it up in the show notes. And if anybody has any questions in regards to local SEO or kind of, how they should get started, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, either Lisa or myself. We are happy to provide value free of charge because that's the kind of situation that we're in, and we're all in. I hate to use the term, but we are all in this together, at least from a business perspective. So let's help each other so that we can grow our businesses now, so we can all get back to normal, the regular normal, and get back to life.
All right. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Okay. Bye bye.